So for those of you that are new to my channel, how I read the cards is I generally do just a general over synopsis of everything at the very end, but it'll be just a general overview initially. I have pulled clarifiers. I do pre-pull just for the sake of time. And so we'll start out with just a general question as to, anything that you're working on as far as projects, where things are at with that, and what's going to be happening in the month of November. So overall, you are looking at steady work. This is a card of steady work. Could be also dealing with somebody who is along this line, has a practical mindset, likes to get things done in a slow, methodical way, really prioritizes things along the line of doing the right thing. So something along that line. So either way, I feel like you're putting in a lot of steady work over the month of November. It's kind of a slow but dependable sort of income, and this could also be in terms of people that are around you. There may be somebody here that has that slow, dependable energy, does the right thing in terms of finances, is very careful with life in general in terms of the way things move. However, on the other side of things, we're also looking at the Six of Pentacles. So this tells me that there is something here that kind of speaks to anything that deals with connections as well. So this could be somebody coming in from the past, could be a child, could be something here as far as working with someone in a more, it seems to be moving in a very slow but methodical way, but still has, steady progress. The Six of Pentacles is also balance. So there could be generosity, somebody extending themselves to help you as well, that may also be of the same energy, that has a practical, pragmatic sort of mindset. But overall, I feel like there is some kind of genuine support or feedback or an exchange of energy, could be even in terms of money, but there's something here that seems to be a steady rebuilding energy either way. There's momentum around whatever it is that you're working on as well. It's not something that's flashy and dramatic, but it definitely is tangible steps forward, and those count because they're strong foundational steps. So again, I still feel like you're receiving some helpful support in terms of money, or again, feedback or some kind of small financial sign like a prepayment or something that's offering help to you to move something forward. But there's also something here that kind of speaks to that energy of, being rewarded for past efforts, because the past is present here. So it is more of a practical forecast. So early November, I would say there's more grounding. You feel the urge to organize, plan, commit, and there's kind of a rhythm there that's happening. So I feel like you could receive some kind of encouragement or tangible feedback, or again, some kind of smaller denomination or something from the past in regards to money. But later November, I feel like you'll have clear balance between your work and your rest energies, things along that line. And there's a small opportunity or an offer connected to something that you're doing as well. So financially, again, November, I don't feel like it's a major cash flow month, but it does feel like there's some small incoming support, maybe $100 to $500 range. But there's something here about a resource that helps you to sort of save money, something along that line. So this is an energy that teaches you, that slow abundance is coming in for you. You've planted the seeds with the Knight, and there's definitely something of that good faith that will circle back to you. So again, it's you needing to demonstrate your reliability in the situation, that the universe is showing up for you. Okay, we've got some other cards there. Sorry, just trying to read who's saying hello there. And hello, hello. Hi, Asian. Hi. So now we're going to get right into the next cards here. So the next ones out are the Four of Wands. This is stability around your household. This is stability around your overall situation. So I would say in terms of, actually, maybe I should read the other ones here first, because I did this in order here. Okay, so the Nine of Wands, we are looking at more of a resistance, but this is a connection that I'd asked about in this. So whoever it is for you, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It can be just a general, someone who is impacting you. It's very significant on your mind in the month of November. So that connection, I would say there's more of a sense of independence. There's more of a sense of Oh, sorry, it was these cards here. So it's more of independence and respect and rebuilding stability, taking pride in one's progress, healing through self-sufficiency. But there's also, could be dealing with a mother figure here as well. But the Queen of Swords does indicate there could be some distance there, but it is something that's learning through a level of maturity, but getting an understanding, by learning about boundaries and making sure to have clear thinking. So this is about realizing independence is important in this connection, giving each other space. So I would say this other person is probably moving into a phase of greater independence and self-mastery, and especially with the Nine of Pentacles, it does show someone who's beginning to stand on their own feet again, financially, emotionally, spiritually. It's a vibration of self-worth being restored, perhaps after a difficult time, which would generally be the case. So again, especially when it's followed up with the Queen of Swords here, I would say that's energy, whether it's you or him, or her. It's still truthful communication, but it's a boundary, and it's still emotional wisdom that's coming through. So it feels like that connection is a bit cool or reserved, but not in a negative way. It's more like a mutual respect that's forming. And so that connection is built on honesty and space rather than control or emotional volatility. Then we get into sort of I was just checking one more thing here. I see somebody else has joined. And thank you for joining, guys. Hi, Thonia. Hi. So again, with this card here, we are looking at early November for this combination, where there's a sense of steadiness, distance, where both of you are kind of focusing on your own stability. By mid or late, I think there might be a conversation that may clarify or bring some kind of emotional maturity between the two, where there's practical issues like work, money, or something discussed about the next steps or phase of something. And I feel like by December, there's kind of an emotional, quiet confidence, mutual respect that replaces what might have been previously tension. So it's almost a refining stage of the connection. So I feel like you're both learning that you can exist with a certain level of independence and respect for each other's, space. There's like a self-value there as well that ensures that growth is going to be guided by a certain level of maturity and truth. So I would say to January, there's more of an emotional warmth or connection that deepens, but that's only due to this clarity, this phase of clarity and independence. So now we're looking at how things are looking for you in terms of finances. So with the Four of Wands, of course, it could be attending a celebration or something in the month of November here as well. Your financial looks pretty stable. This is some kind of a milestone or community support or some kind of action or event. Could also, again, be dealing with a mother or somebody who's very caring, intuitive, emotional connection. But I feel like you're also following your heart in work or in a situation of that sort. So the combination is really emotional fulfillment and stable success. But I feel like the things that you might be doing for money also, define your soul in some way. It feels like it feels right to you. It's something that I feel is on the verge of establishing a very strong foundation. So it's something that you can actually build on over the long term. And again, it indicates some kind of visible progress. So I would say within the next 4 to 6 weeks, something along that line, you will get some kind of recognition from others, but it feels like your emotional intelligence or your intuition are kind of your best business tools or whatever, if it's dealing with work. And it feels like you're creating something that expresses care, healing, beauty, something along that line, or even some kind of level of nurturing. But either way, it attracts loyal people to you because that's the same kind of foundation that they're sort of working with. If it is something in terms of money that you're bringing in, again, it's going to be in the 300 to maybe 1,200 range in the next 1 to 2 months, depending on how much time and visibility that you give the project. But overall, I feel like the 4-month mark indicates steady return of something. And again, this could be doing in regards to sales, but word of mouth, growth, partnerships, things along that line. So in terms of November itself, I feel like you're laying the groundwork, and this is where you're using your intuition to kind of refine the idea make things happen. December is when you start to see the first reward or validation or some kind of positive feedback. January, February is also where I feel there is a sense of money flow that's improving, and your emotional satisfaction is rising in some way there. So again, the project isn't really about, or your finances specifically, it's not really about the income. It's more about you regaining some sense of control over your creative gift. So it's, where you actually have this reminds you of home. This is something that feels right for you, and it's nurturing others through this creation, and that's how that abundance is returned to you in some way. Now we are moving into the cards of overall finances for the month of November. Now, overall, I would say there is a certain level of resistance you're pushing through. There's kind of a weariness. There's still some anxiety about money or stability. But I would say that because, you've got the worry 9 and 9, you have pretty much, worried yourself out of it. There's still some things here with 9 of Cups to come in. There's still something with the the 9 of Cups and the, I don't know why I'm blanking, 9 of Pentacles. So the money isn't quite there because it's still at a beginning stage with the Ace. But I would say that there is still something here. You're kind of through the exhaustion phase. You're through the excessive worry, like you're almost through it. But it's more along the lines of a new opportunity or a fresh start. Something tangible is going to be coming in here in the month of November. So the final card out on that one was actually the Judgment card. And I don't know what I did with that one. But the Judgment card I know was in here as well, and that one is really the turning point. So it's like you're making big financial decisions. You're making big decisions overall with your life or with regards to that. Actually, I think that was in my other pile here. Sorry, just looking for it, guys. But either way, I know that I'd seen the Judgment card. I had it on the bottom there. So it does indicate there's a turning point and you're making some big decisions in your life in the month of November. So I would feel like this has more to do with monetary aspects of things. So whatever your decisions are, like I said, it's like big commitments, I would say, in regards to that. So yeah, overall, I feel like you're under some kind of pressure in the month of November. You might be fearing some kind of delays or something like that, or still have a scarcity mindset. But there's also something here that, the stress feels heavier with these two cards. But it's more of a mental projection or a fear of what could go wrong than something that's actually going wrong. So it's just, there is a doorway in this month that is going to be providing you with an option financially to make a little extra money. It's a new source of income. I would say for some, it might be a new job or a fresh offer or an idea that brings some kind of real potential, but it's starting small and then it builds long-term stability. That's what's really written all over it because of all the other cards, the Knight of Pentacles and all of that. So I would say that overall this month, you have any of the other cards here, guys, even though I'm not pulling them all forward here yet. You also had some other cards here that, with the Sun, and then there was 10 of Pentacles. All of that is coming out here. So it feels like it's a bit of a karmic shift, a timing moment. You're reaching the end of an old cycle or a financial struggle or anxiety, and you're moving into a new phase where you've got clearer purpose and more self-belief. And I feel like early November, this is when that anxiety peaks, tight or uncertain, and then there's news or an opportunity that arrives or a check or something of a practical amount of money or something that shows signs of money or energetically enters in that gives you something more tangible to hang on to in the physical. And so by late November, I would say that's when the decision or a realization, happens where you are actually able to bring about some kind of clearer start for yourself in terms of finances. Again, first 2 weeks, I feel like things might feel a little stagnant, a little stressful. Doesn't feel like the money is coming in quite at that point, but in mid to late month, I feel like there's a notable shift where there's more flow around money. So $500 maybe to $1,500, depending on whether or not you kind of move with that opportunity, carpe diem, seize the day. But it feels like the emotional tone improves overall, and you've got some hope that's running. So you'll start to see some more growth that's more possible in the month of December. So again, overall, I feel like this month is really teaching you that fear kind of dissolves when you act on these new beginnings instead of replaying old failures. So you're being asked to step back and step forward. So it's more of a step up to this new version of yourself, really. So again, it's you're feeling more wise, you're feeling more awake, and a lot more intentional. You know, going what you want in the month of November. It's like you're closing an old chapter, and planting the seeds for a new one with the Ace of Pentacles there. Okay, then we move on to there is some negative energy here with the devil. So again, this still feels like, there's an attachment or a temptation or a karmic pattern, something that's testing your boundaries. And again, it's something that somehow, causes a little bit more of a negative impact on you or in this month. But I feel like even this is more to do, I think, with connections, because I feel like you are pulling back with the Hermit energy. This is more of an introspective, a solitude, soul searching, wisdom, all of that. So I feel like you're pulling back to gain some level of stability mentally, by putting a little bit of distance between you and perhaps somebody else there. Doesn't have to be the main connection, but it could be something else related around a connection. But I mean, overall, this is the sun. So this is telling me that there's clarity, there's some kind of renewal or joy or truth or something that comes. So it's a lot clearer. There's illumination in November for sure, in contrast to the devil energy. So it's like you're seeing through something, or you're getting a better idea or understanding of what's happening with that connection. And it's due to the fact that you're pulling away energetically or emotionally to sort of understand it. So I feel like you are craving a little bit of solitude in this month to kind of reset your boundaries or rediscover what, brings you light or, enjoyment and validation and comfort. But again, it's still, the devil is the card of a shadow. So there's something of a pattern or a dependency or an emotional entanglement. Whatever that is for you, it just feels like it's a bit of a shadow of confrontation. But again, I feel like you see how that clearly impacts you, and you're not willing to entertain that. So you realize it doesn't serve you emotionally, so you're pulling away from it. And that's why you've got the joy card with the truth coming out with the sun. So again, there's something here that's more of a lighter energy, feeling more radiant, more confident. Could be dealing with the Leo energy here as well. But it feels like there's more joy that comes through from you pulling away. Now, and I should just say, like I said, in the beginning, there may be intense conversation or intense interaction in the beginning of early November. But I feel it's testing your emotional boundaries, and that may be where they drain you or manipulate your energy a little bit. But then you decide it's not in your best interest to follow that train of thought. So you're pulling back, reflecting, and then just spending a little more time alone until it feels like you're spiritually kind of safe again to kind of move forward or feel more clear about how you want to liberate yourself. And then you feel more of a reconciliation or renewal, and then things start to align. So I feel the month of November, you're moving from bondage to freedom in some way and how you relate to others. So your relationships will mirror your own healing journey. So as you release guilt or obligation, your connection starts to shift toward more genuine affection and mutual respect. I feel like it's going to be an overall tone of more positive, freeing energy and more self-assured. So I would say that, overall, it's bringing in more light despite the fact that you're dealing with some shadowy elements there. But it's, again, the result is truth that you're seeking here with the Sun card. And you might be seeking more, supportive relationships as well. I feel like the blockage for you, or the thing that you need to focus on this month, has more to do with, because this is your obstacle, it's more of an emotional departure that leaves you behind, or leaves something behind. So it has something to do with the things, again, that, you find distracting or holding you back in some way. This is where you struggle a little bit. You're dealing with other people's deception, you're dealing with avoidance, you're dealing with, secrecy. So this is something here where you're having to And this could be relating around family or long-term stability issues or financial issues or security, because it is around the Ten of Pentacles. So this is something that you're having to deal with. That's what I would say, is you're trying to find a way to pull away, and with more of a strategy in this period. So I think your biggest challenges this month will be around detachment and knowing when to walk away and what your energy or your assets. You know, something that's showing you that you've outgrown something, you know, whether that's a relationship or a mindset. But either way, whatever it is that's draining you in this month, you know, I feel like that's where you struggle a little bit with the obstacle. Because again, this is not always easy. There's you know, some kind of emotional residue or nostalgia or guilt around it possibly, but it still feels like with that Seven of Swords energy, you know, something intensifies to some extent here. It does intensify a little bit where there's hidden information or energy or avoidance, and I feel like you sense that. Not everyone around you is being honest, and so you're being tempted to balance that out, you know, the tension that you feel, and trying to figure out what that truth is to find a level of comfort. Now again, it is around the Ten of Pentacles, so there's something here about what's at stake. Your long-term foundation seems to be the thing that's at stake. So you want to cut through the deception or half-truths and walk away from the short-term discomfort. So again, the obstacle is the fear of losing security. I would say that there's something there about, you know, deception or self-doubt, not trusting others. So you're going to have to go off your own instincts on this one. But the long-term vision is here with the Ten of Pentacles, you know, so it's long-term vision, short-term fixes. So there's a bit of a temptation to settle now instead of investing in the future. So one more little set of cards to read here, guys. But I feel like financially you need to guard your money or your possessions right now. Double check details before signing or spending, things along that line. So relationally, I feel like, you know, there is somebody who's truly supportive, but there's also somebody here who's kind of draining and manipulative. So it's knowing, you know, which thing to devote your attention to. Emotionally, I feel like there may be some conflict between wanting peace and knowing that you need to move on from something that's not really, that's draining you. So you need to put some boundaries up there. But again, I feel like, you know, you are moving toward or being reminded, you know, to stay in what's in true authenticity, you know, what's going to bring you the most long-term value. So again, it's more of a temporary loneliness or mistrust, but it's clearing the space for more security, more authenticity, more long-term prosperity, things along that line. So I feel like November's obstacle is really just, again, to walk away. It's getting through some of the illusions so that you can protect your future. Now, final cards out are the Justice, Two of Cups, Queen of Wands. So again, there's something here that's coming through. There's a good thing, you know, you being a lot more confident. There's more magnetism. There's a lot more creativity. There's courage to kind of stand out here. I feel like through some kind of harmonious connection here as well, there's a partnership or mutual understanding. So there is going to be more balance with the Justice card. And I feel like this is almost karmic reward, where fairness is restored in some way. So this is the good thing that's going to be coming through for you. So November brings a certain empowerment or emotional harmony and some kind of karmic alignment for you. And I feel like that Queen of Wands kind of shows you that you're stepping up into being more seen, more expressive, more magnetic again. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius may also be here, but you're presenting with more energy. So I feel like your self-image is starting to become more magnetic, and again, it's like a renewed passion for goals, your work, or your own image. But there's more energy here that will help to draw opportunities to you, and instead of you having to chase them. The Two of Cups means there could be a new alliance or something that's coming in here as well. Could be a lover energy as well, but it's connection and healing either way. Could be making a decision here as well around something. But there's a new ally or a creative collaboration. It's something of mutual respect, and I feel more heart-to-heart kind of understanding. And again, when it's sort of sealed with the Justice card, this one is also at equilibrium. It's where there's a karmic debt that's rebalancing, and it's like it's overdue. support or fairness arriving. And it's, again, possibly a payment or something in your favor. So early November is when you feel more confidence return. There's motivation, there's more ideas, there's more self-belief that's starting to reignite. By mid-November, there's a positive interaction or some kind of reconciliation that occurs, an emotional balance restored. And by late November, that's where you start to feel more fairness in a financial matter or something that's turning in your favor. So what are the blessings for you in this month is the relationships. There's healing, there's forgiveness, there's deeper connections. There is a new ally that appears. Financially, there's more fairness or long delayed payment or something that arrives that helps to improve your sense of balance. I feel like personally a greater confidence or self-worth, like I said, that you're aligning more so with your own personal truth, more self-respect. And so because of that, you're also being rewarded by the universe in some way because, things where you gave too much or things were not it's now being tipped back toward you. So again, it's something about your light guides, it doesn't dim others, so that's a good thing. So it's like the return of good energy on your side. And that's also delivered through this connection and a lot more courage coming in through and doors coming in, doors opening for you. So hopefully, and I should just flash this card, of course, the Six of Swords, which is the card of walking away from, difficulties, transit of a lot of heaviness. So that's where I see things at for you, Libra, for the month of November. I think things are really going to start turning around. It's still in an energy of slow and deliberate, but you're getting there. Perunious connection, Commissioner. Matthew Mate, and hello. Emotional residue, shadowy governments. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. There's a lot you just cannot trust these days. And I think overall, it's, I think a lot of those energies will do themselves in. Because it's a karmic balancing. It's, based on your choices. So for every decision that we make, there is a runoff effect. And so that's why I say, there is more of us in line with truth and wanting to do the right thing than those that are deceptive. I'm not saying the deceptive ones don't gain in the short term. I think they do because it's more of a take and grab situation, but it's that it gets taken away later. So think of it that way. It doesn't happen right away, but it does happen. So that's what I have for you. And as they say, it's, keep moving forward. It's not how good you are, it's how good you want to be, guys. Until the next read, that's what I have for you for November.